Go, Pack, go. It's a poo show.
I got to say, that is the best theme song of all Packer podcasts / YouTube channels, whatever. And not just because I did it, but also because it is the best. However, it is so damn loud that I almost freaking nearly pooped my pants. We got to find a way to make it not start so loud, dude, because it's so much louder than our normal talking volume is. Like, because I'm just talking to you before the show, and I'm like, oh yeah, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, welcome to the Pooh Show. Yeah.
Is that what you want?
I don't sing it like that. I sing it all wussy, like, you know. Welcome to the Pooh Show. I should have been way tougher. What the hell was I doing there? I should have been like a tough guy. But anyways, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's way too loud.
Well, okay. So what happened was you sent me the file, all right, and then
Brad always does it super loud.
No, I know, but then like, so I export the file. It's normal volume, and we get like a lower volume because otherwise we can't blast the whole time as we're talking, because then you like screw up the audio levels on the stream. But so what I learned previously was that I had to like, you know, reduce the sound of the music like on other things that when I put the one together with our previous theme song using Black Unicorn. But then I forgot to do that with that one, and then I don't have the audio file anymore, so I can't go back and like tweak. I can't even export that video file out and reset it and reduce the audio level. So I have to start over and redo the whole thing, and I just haven't gotten to that.
All right, well then we'll just blast everybody's brains out right off.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a tone setter. They should play that for the Packers defense once in a while. Like, if those guys set a tone once in a while, god damn.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Right? It's Wild Man Dude is in the comments. I know he's staying at your house right now. So I mean, hey, what's up, Wild Man?
What's his comment right away? Trey Jaire. Good evening, boys.
That's what he said. That's what he said to me on the phone the other day. He was all like, "Wow, I gotta get rid of this guy," and I'm like,
"Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you want to, you know, have $28 million on the salary cap for no reason, I mean, we've already
next year because Rodgers will be gone. Rodgers will be off.
I know, cap. But that was the whole point, was that we were going to have all this money to pay guys. But
whatever. We don't need money yet, do we? Hey, Viking Mo, he's not feeling up to doing a show. He's got COVID.
Yeah, Viking Mo, he's sick.
Better. But
don't tell everybody he's got COVID. He could have something else.
What happens? It's going around. Just
I had it once.
Keep your wits
actually. I think I had it. I think I had it before.
I think you did too.
Thanksgiving for like a week or two or a couple days.
Keep your wits about you and just be careful out there. So
all I know is this, Mo. When I had COVID, I did the show. Just saying. You're a wuss.
Oh,
I'm a tough guy.
Dude says get rid of Jaire again. Sort of a green rid of Jaire. He wants no more green.
Same thing.
No more green for Jaire.
So he can't be on the Eagles and he can't be on the Jets.
So let's clarify. Here's the since Jaire's Mo says he's a wuss, and we knew that already.
He's a Viking fan.
It's true. It's true. He's also trying to recoup so he can. He wants to see the Vikings
go to the game. I think he probably goes. You go to the game, Mo, or if you're feeling better in a couple of days. I know you have like season tickets. I think.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I don't know. Maybe hopefully he's better by New Year's Eve. I don't know.
We'll see. Okay. So here's the thing. We have to clear up, right? Because some people have tried to clear it up. Well, do you know how many news sources? Okay, I'm talking like stupid. You know, this is like Wisconsin TV stations, other places who report on the Jaire suspension and all this sort of stuff. And what they say is suspended for his mistake on the coin flip. Suspended for his mistake on the coin flip. Well, that's what they labeled it.
Not the mistake. It's not the mistake on the coin flip.
I know. That's what we have to clear up because people are getting misinformation again.
People are stupid.
That's not why he was suspended. That's not why. The primary reason why is because it was last straw, and because he had made himself a captain and just went out there and hijacked everything. And with the guys that were out there were Quay Walker, who's a second-year guy. Yeah. Eric Wilson, who the hell is that guy? And then Aaron Jones, Mr. Super Nice Guy. So were any of those three guys going to confront him and be like, what the hell are you doing out here? No, not at all.
I don't know if I want to get into it anymore.
But I just want to
I do, but I don't. But I'm just like, it's done.
He was not suspended because he almost botched the coin flip. Well, basically did, but the
No.
ref wheeled him out. He was suspended for the other nonsense, and he's ridiculous.
Well, I don't know what's going on. I usually don't listen to the Schneidman show, but I saw it show up on my feed the other day when I was looking at Jaire crap, and he said he's got stuff off the record of antics. Like he knows stuff that he can't say because then he blows the cover or whatever. But he's saying there's multiple, and which Matt LaFleur said it's not just every one thing. Well, Schneidman knows of multiple Jaire crazy things. And that's part of it. But the biggest difference is, why are we like it? I don't. Jaire's Jaire. I'm not worried. Like, he sucks. Fine. He doesn't play. He hasn't been a Pro Bowl type player in 3 years. When Rasul showed up, we showed us what a real cornerback should look like. A good Pro Bowl cornerback should look like, even though he never made the Pro Bowl, though he should have. Mm-hmm. And he did. I think he didn't make it that first year. Maybe he didn't. I don't know.
But he might have been an alternate, or
I think he was
whatever.
an alternate. Yeah. Yeah. But anyways, so we saw there what. Oh yeah, that's right. That's what they looked like. Tramon Williams and Charles Woodson. Like, yeah. Doug Evans. Yeah. Okay, that's what it looks like. Okay, it's not a guy who everybody tells you he's good, right? But the real issue is not with Jaire at this point. My issue is with Matt LaFleur. That's the concerning thing, because that's the long-term head of the team that lets this stuff happen. It should have never gotten to Jaire just wanders out on the field as captain because he feels like it and calls the toss and does crazy stuff. That should have never even happened. And it's because the head coach has no backbone.
Is that what you think? No backbone for Matt LaFleur?
Play the clip you're going to play. I want to hear the clip.
I mean, I know how many times
he can yell at Bill Huber. He can yell at Bill Huber, and he can chew out Jason Wilde when Jason Wilde calls him out for, and assume Jason Wilde doesn't know that there's 4 down linemen, 2 down linebackers, or whatever the hell he said, even though it was obvious on the tap. Down lineman means you're down, hand in the dirt, and both of them were standing up on all the plays they were talking about. So they weren't actually down linemen, Matt LaFleur, which means you were incorrect once again. So play it sound. I don't know what it is, but I'm assuming it's going to be Matt LaFleur being a wuss, unless it's confronting reporters who he thinks he's stronger than and tougher than. That's great. You're tougher than a reporter guy who you have no, what are they going to do? But guys on your own team that you're the head coach of, you can't control.
That's fair. That's fair. No, I think the one thing you alluded to it, and hopefully, but I wanted to make sure people heard it and said it, is that when Matt LaFleur was asked about, Jaire Alexander and the situation, just again to clarify for anyone who has not heard this, because of all the misinformation and mistitles that went out that said Jaire suspended for coin flip mistake. No, this is what Matt LaFleur had to say.
Hold on. Absence or hold on. Pause it.
Oh, okay.
Do you have the sound from when he explained how guys are captains? Is that what this is?
I think that's what this is.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
Actually,
that's the sound I like to hear, because that explains everything about what Jaire is not. He explains why guys are appointed captains, and Jaire is none of those things, and that's why he was not appointed a captain. Period. End of story. That's okay. Just play it. We'll see.
Let me make sure I got it here. Let me make sure I got. What did I do here? Let me make sure I got it. Make sure I have my.
I screwed you up. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. But the point is, you're right.
There. The sound was there.
Actually, you fixed me. You fixed me, because I actually had the situation where I was queuing up how he said how it's never just one thing, blah, 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 but that's not what I queued up, because anyway, I queued this up instead.
Okay, now you're not sharing it.
Oh, okay, my bad. I can't hear it for the moment.
Well, you're not sharing it to me anyways.
Oh, okay. Well, let me go back. You're going to have to tell me when the clip is. You're going to tell me when the clip's done. You're going to tell me when the clip's done, because I can't hear it for some reason. I don't know what I did. What the hell did I do?
Well, you're not sharing it, so I don't know.
Well, I should still be able to hear it. It's on my computer.
From what he said after the game, it was clear that Jaire felt like he should have been made a captain Sunday. He's from Charlotte. He's one of your veteran players. Was the reason not just because he's coming off a 6-game absence, or was there nothing?
Well, I think there's a lot of reasons when you go through and you determine who a captain is, and certainly to me, it's never about being like what ability you are as a player. That has nothing to do with it. It has everything to do with how you treat the team, how you show up and prepare on a daily basis. And I'm not saying that, he was bad in that regard. That it's not about him. I'm just saying what the thought process and what entails.
A little backtracking there.
The ability to be a captain, and it's something that we rotate around in terms of who's a captain. And certainly, when a guy has been in and out, it's hard.
No, okay. Then he tries to cover.
That's enough. Yeah. Blah. He tried to cover his ass. He starts to say exactly. Yes. A guy how you treat your team, what you're like in the locker room, and how do you show up and work hard every day? Those are key things he wants from his captains. Jaire is none of those things. I saw something today. Micah Parsons apparently had to voice his opinion. I did not know
what?
About the Jaire situation. Why?
What?
Somebody would ask Micah Parsons of the Dallas Cowboys, who is one of the biggest me guys in the league, so it doesn't surprise me at all. Also doesn't make any plays. I watched I picked him up for my fantasy football team because I wanted to watch him play. I think it was the Thursday Thanksgiving game. I watched the entire game. He made 0 plays until the very end. He got a pressure, and then they won the game. And everybody's like, "Oh, Micah Parsons does it again."
They were going against a bad O-line. You thought you were going to get a bunch of sacks. And
I don't know what it was. I thought he was going to do something, but he did absolutely nothing in the whole game because they got rid of the ball really fast. But anyways, besides the point. What he said was, he was like, "Wow, I can't believe, Jaire is a leader on that team. He's an all-pro quarterback, one of the highest paid guys in the league. I don't understand why they'd be upset about this. Like suspending him is going overboard, blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff." And I'm like, it's not about what he is as a player. Because as a matter of fact, if it was, he still wouldn't be a captain and he wouldn't be on the team, quite frankly. If his money wasn't where it was, I would assume he would be gone, cut, released, traded, whatever, because his play on the field is not good. Hasn't been for 2 years. But that's not what the point is of this. The point of this is, and then I wrote back to whoever put this on, somebody put this on, shared it on Facebook, and I just wrote back to it and I said, listen, number one, Micah Parsons has no freaking clue what's going on behind the scenes at 1265 Lombardi Avenue. No clue. And neither do us as Packer fans. But us Packer fans who actually live it and really pay attention know a hell of a lot more than Micah Parsons freaking knows. He doesn't know jack shit. So his opinion means nothing, number one. Number two, and more importantly, over the last 2 or 3 seasons, Jaire has not been there in the offseason for voluntary workouts at all.
He gave up This is the weird
He
part.
doesn't even show up.
He gave up $700,000 he gave up that much salary because he didn't go to the mandatory minicamp.
He didn't go to He didn't even go to the mandatory one.
Yeah.
Right. And he didn't last year either. And then when he wasn't voted a captain, he got all butthurt. And I'm like, dude, you weren't even there. This team is a bunch of young guys. Why would they vote for you as a captain where you're not? They haven't seen you all year long. And you think you're going to show up and just be a captain? No, that's not how it works. When you're a captain or a leader, it's because you're there every day. You're in the trenches. You're showing guys how to make things happen, like Rasul Douglas did, by the way, when he would stay late and work with guys after practice. And we saw it with our own eyes. He was on the field late for a half an hour after everybody else left, working with Jean Charles, who stinks, to try to make him better. We saw it. That's a leader, not a guy who doesn't show up half the time. And that's the biggest issue here. We had a Zadarius Smith. They got smart there. They cut ties with him. And we paid him $11 million to play for the Vikings, which we have gone over many times. And as Eric knows, Mo Gardner. And if we got to pay Jaire $28 million next year to play for the Vikings, so be it. I will gladly do it, or play for the Bears, or play for the Lions, or play for anybody, because this guy is not my definition of a Packer. It's one thing to be a conceited jerk, and another thing to be a conceited jerk who just makes plays all the time. I mean, Deion Sanders is a conceited jerk. Let's be honest. But the guy was freaking amazing, and he made plays left and right and got picks and scored points and did things, and you can let him get away with it. And you can. And the biggest say of all this is when I heard, I kind of caught the Skip Bayless, Michael Irvin, and Keyshawn Johnson talking about it. And these are two of the, Michael Irvin and Keyshawn Johnson are two of the biggest me wide receivers in the history of the NFL.
That's true.
And both of them were shocked that a guy would just walk out there, appoint himself captain, and then call the flip himself. They were like, both of them, they were like, I don't even know what to say. He's like, I've never heard of this. I've never seen this, heard anything about this. I have never even thought about this. And even Keyshawn's like, there's been times where people wanted me to be a captain. I was like, I don't want to be a captain. So that's something different. He's like, I did whatever I wanted, but I wouldn't do something like that. He's like, Parcells would have strung me up and kicked me off the team. And Michael Irvin's like, yeah, Jimmy Johnson wouldn't, you'd come back to the sideline. You might as well go home, change your clothes, and get out of here. You're off the team, no matter how much you made. Now, I don't know if I quite agree with that, because I know Bill Parcells in particular let Lawrence Taylor do whatever the hell he wanted.
Yeah, right.
Now, Lawrence Taylor was a transcendent MVP player, but that's totally different. But I'm still saying there's a threshold of where your performance meets your antics, and once the antics go above the performance level, goodbye. And time is by. It's time to say goodbye. And here's the sad part. His antics have always been way above his performance level.
Pretty much. Except this
it's just nobody has known it other than us. And now finally everybody sees it. And that's why everybody should watch this show. Because Jason and I know what we're talking about. We know what we're talking about. We see the truth. It's called Packer Outright Opinions, because we see things, we tell you what it is, and then 2 years later, 3 years later, all of a sudden it comes to light. Even though we see the signs, we see the warning signs, we see all the things. I knew the Rodgers stuff 3-4 years ago. Jason knew the Jaire stuff 3-4 years ago. The Zadarius Smith stuff I saw on film, and I was like, man, how's this guy dogging it on half these plays? Yet everybody said how great he was. And they're like, how could we give up so much rushing yards in the 49ers playoff game? Well, when Zadarius Smith isn't playing the run, that's why. And guess what? Jaire isn't playing the run either. So that's all I got to say. It was shocking to me that they actually suspended him. I was shocked.
They suspended him? You were shocked? Okay.
I was, and the other thing that's also hurts Matt LaFleur in this is the press release does not mention Matt LaFleur. It mentions Brian Gutekunst and his quotes about the situation. Now, maybe they did it because they were trying to do what they did with Rodgers, where they tried to make Goody the bad guy and Rodgers the good guy. Or not Rodgers, LaFleur the good guy. Yeah, so that Rodgers could, because then Rodgers, all of his hate went to Goody, and because Goody has no problem being the bad guy. You don't care. Where LaFleur always has to be the nice guy.
Yeah.
But the problem is when you're the nice guy and you're the head coach, they just walk all over you.
Yeah.
And it needs, and I don't think it can change unless we weed out the eggs, the bad eggs. Pull out the weeds, throw out the bad eggs. Stinky eggs. We did it, like I said, we did it on offense. We got rid of all the Rodgers. Rodgers and his Rodgers guys are gone, right? And that included Mason Crosby. He was a Rodgers guy too. They're all gone. all the offensive Rodgers guys, except for one, Bakhtiari, who's getting paid for doing nothing for the last 3 years. But he'll be gone after this year. So they're all gone. They're all going to be gone. And now we need to get rid of Campbell, who's not a Rodgers guy, but he's a piece of crap. Nice guy, bad player. Jaire, bad guy, bad player. Bye. See ya. The only guy that we have that's a veteran who's a nice guy and probably a good locker room guy, but not a leader, Preston Smith. And Rashawn Gary has to take over that mantle now in his 4th year or 5th year, whatever, how many damn years he's been in the league. I don't even remember anymore.
Yeah. 5th.
But his play doesn't match his contract. And pretty soon, I wonder what that's going to be like in the locker room too. When here's a guy, other teammates see him screwing up on the field, not making plays, yet he's the biggest voice in the room. It's going to be hard to listen to him when he's not making like Aaron Jones could be a leader because he makes plays on the field, where Gary doesn't really make the plays. I don't know. I'm changing. I'll stop talking. I'm kind of rambling and going on crazy.
You're going too far. But I did.
You go ahead and say your stuff.
I just wanted to say this. I understand. The other night when we talked about it, you were more upset about stuff, and I laughed a lot. And the reason I laugh at some of these things is because basically for me, the decisions have been made. These things are unfolding that we thought were going to happen, and for me, it's either laugh or cry at this point. Like I don't know, and I guess I'm just going to laugh at some of it because what the hell else am I going to do? I can't change it. I can talk about it. I can hopefully bring it to light with Ben's help in some of these cases, but Jaire Alexander he's not the type of guy you want. He's not the type of guy you want as a leader, supposed leader on your team. He never has shown those traits. He's even not the type of player you want because I think he has ability, like I said the other night, but he just doesn't show much effort or like he gives a crap. So when you think about that, because there are plenty of other guys on this team right now. Ben and I talked about it. Who are some of the most impactful defensive players that we've seen in the last few weeks, where the Packers now the run is not the problem. Now they're getting beat by the pass by all these bad quarterbacks, but they can stop the run. But who are some of the guys that are actually showing effort and making plays?
Well, it's McDuffie, TJ Slayton, Kingsley Enagbare.
Okay.
That's about it.
Yeah. And when Rudy Ford was in there, he's trying.
Rudy Ford, but he hasn't played. They haven't played him. They haven't played him for I don't know why.
Jonathan Owens is trying.
Jonathan Owens, he's okay.
Nixon is trying. And they're trying at least.
Nixon,
right?
yeah, but he screws up.
But what I'm saying is, those guys don't have near the talent of Jaire Alexander, right?
I don't know if Jaire's got that much talent, dude. I gotta be honest.
I think he has talent, but I think he mentally, I don't know if he's doing extra stuff outside, putting extra things in his body, different stuff like that. It kind of feels like that. I don't know. But he's certainly not focused on football, certainly not focused on doing his job, and certainly not focused on doing what needs to be done to help his team win. Okay.
I think that's the interesting thing.
And you couple that with his attitude that he thinks he's so great and he's really all about him and he's really not about the team. So I don't know. That's not the guy I want on my team. And it's not a guy you can count on. It's not a leader. It's not anything. And he's not even playing well. So whatever. There are guys at the cornerback spot that can help impact the game and change games. And he has never been one of those guys. Never. Yet he's talked about like he is.
The thing that's interesting to me is a lot of the best players are guys that study and work hard and do all the little things to become great. Anybody who shows up, there's a lot of guys who show up with athletic talent or something like that. Like, look at Kyler Murray, for instance. After his rookie year, I can remember Mike Florio saying that he was going to be MVP his second year, just like Lamar Jackson was MVP his second year. And I'm not saying Lamar Jackson doesn't work hard. I think he does actually work hard. So that's totally different. Yeah. I just think the NFL figured him out at first, and now he's starting to come back and figure out how to play again. But in Kyler Murray's case, he didn't work hard. It was monitored by his contract that they gave him, where they had to put a clause in there that he had to, watch his minutes that he actually studied film, because he spent no time studying the film and working on stuff. And when you see a guy who's, even if he has a lot of talent and he doesn't work on his craft, he thinks his talent is enough. Mm-hmm. That's where things catch up to you eventually. And that may not be the case with Jaire, but the one thing about it you said is motivation. And like, he's already the highest paid corner. That was his motivation, I think. He got the highest paid contract. He said, I want to be the highest paid. He goes, the highest paid. And now he's got it. So what's his motivation now? I don't think he has any. And the hardest part is you have to find what makes this guy motivated to make him great. Except that doesn't make a great player. You can't be a great player if someone has to make you find your motivation. The great player has his own motivation. Like Aaron Rodgers, for his whole career, took that drafted in the 24th spot, put his chip on his shoulder, and used that for every freaking game of his life. Tom Brady, drafted in the 6th round, 199th player drafted, used that for his entire career to motivate him. No matter how much money he made, no matter how many Super Bowls he had, didn't matter. This guy is not a great player, because great players motivate from within. They find their own motivation. This guy has no motivation, and that was the key that you said just a little while ago. And it doesn't matter what Matt LaFleur does. It doesn't matter what Goody does to suspend him. It's not going to change Jaire Alexander. It's just not. He's not going to become all of a sudden this. There's not going to be no wake-up call.
Right.
He spent 6 weeks not playing because of his injury. You think not playing this week is going to bother him? You don't care. Now, maybe he's not getting a game check.
It's 60,000 because his base salary or his salary this year was very low. His actual salary,
because
it's only $60,000. He gave up $700,000 to skip minicamp.
Well, he's got a bunch of money in the bit, right? That's what I'm saying. Because he's been paid all the guaranteed money, and they put it on the ghost years in the future. So that's why he's such a low cap hit this year, because they had to do it with everybody just to get under the cap, because we were paying $40 million to Aaron Rodgers, who's not on the team. So
I don't know. I don't see it like, Matt LaFleur wanted to say the same canned response. He answered a couple things. He shed some light on that one comment, which was good. And then he tried to cover ass, but he kept saying that same thing. And then he wanted to talk about Minnesota Vikings. And then he was being a dick and saying, I want to talk about Minnesota Vikings. And that was one thing I'll credit Andy Herman, how he called him out on that. I listened to his podcast the other day and he called him out.
Everybody did.
And I was like, yeah, you know what? These are fair questions, man. And this is a big situation. People want to know about it. This is one of the highest paid guys you got on your team. This is a guy who's supposed to be one of your best players. And this is a step you guys, I don't remember many times the Packers suspending players. I mean, unless the guy was got caught for something illegal.
Right.
And
I don't know if it was the Packers suspending him. I think it was somebody else suspending him, or the league telling them they have to suspend the guy, not necessarily the Packers doing it.
Right. So this organization has not used the detrimental conduct detrimental to the team designation to suspend anybody in my memory that I can think of. Maybe once or twice, but man, I can't think of it. So this is a big deal. And then he just wanted to not answer questions because it's too hard. Well, then you got to work something out and you make Goody answer the questions or something else, but the questions need to be asked. And I appreciate Andy and other people calling him out on that. I think that was good. I did want to just follow up with one little quick thing, and then we're going to move on to some good stuff. Well, interesting stuff.
I just want to say one thing real quick.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
If people think, like Matt LaFleur said, Jaire is going to be a Packer for a long time, blah, 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 blah. Go back in history to any player who's been suspended for any game on his team, and then find out where that player played the next season, if he did play at all. Antonio Brown jumped from team to team. People still kept giving him chances, and then they kept suspending him, and then he was doing another team. Then he was on another team. Then he was on another team. T.O. with the Eagles, he became a Cowboy. Keyshawn Johnson with the Buccaneers, or the Jets, or whatever it was, he became a Buccaneer, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Alex Hainsworth, when he was with the Washington team, gone. He ain't going to be a Packer. They're going to eat the freaking salary cap hit. And Goody's going to eat a big knuckle, or whatever they call it, humble sandwich, because that's the guy he drafted and gave huge dollars to.
You think so?
They
expect him to be here for a long time, Ben. They look forward to moving forward. They had a nice conversation with him, and good conversation, whatever it was. And then they look forward to moving on. He's going to be around a long time.
The only way I can see, because he's got to, he's at home right now. He's got to be listening to all the things people are saying about him. Is that going to affect him?
And he's a joke. Angry? Like, everybody's like, did you see McAfee's nonsense about it? And then they talked to JJ Watt on there, and JJ Watt's like, oh my God, I've never seen anything like this before. Like, you do it again, buddy. And they're just like laughing. They're laughing their asses off at this guy. Right. He's a clown. He's a joke.
He is a clown, and he has been a clown. But the biggest thing is, how can he come back from this on this team? How can you, he's not, made up that way. The only way it works is if he's so stupid that he honestly thought that it wouldn't be a big deal.
He's oblivious. I swear he probably.
I mean, if he's that oblivious and stupid that he honestly thought it wouldn't be a big deal for him to walk out there and do this, and he had no malice in his way of doing it, he honestly thought, oh, well, they'll understand because it's my hometown. Well, they'll understand. If he honestly thought that.
I don't think that, but yeah.
That's the only way this could work. That he's so dumb.
I think he's clueless to the idea that anything else other than what he wants matters.
Well, this is the way a lot of young people are nowadays. I sound like an old fart sitting on his porch complaining about stuff. But I mean, that's the only way it works. That's the only way it works. Because if there was malice intent, not malice, but like if he's, and this is not the first time. So was he talked to about the other things that happened? Whatever they were? Because they asked Jaire about, he's been acting weird for weeks, right? And they asked him about his injury. They asked him about his relationship with Matt LaFleur. He says, I don't talk to Matt LaFleur. Or we don't talk or whatever. That's what he said like a month ago or whatever.
Right.
And okay, well, he's your head coach. You don't talk to him at all? Like, I understand he's an offensive coach and this and that. That's the only way I see it working. Is that he's so dumb. He honestly thought that wouldn't be a big deal. He's so in his own head and so selfish that he doesn't think of anything that his actions would affect any other person on the team. And if that's the case, why would you want that guy on your team in the first place? I don't understand. So
I sure don't want him. Please,
I don't see it. I don't see how he's on the team next year. I just don't see it. I don't see it.
Well, at least they won't. I mean, they did it with Rodgers. They took the big hit to get rid of a problem. So maybe they'll do it with him too. We'll see.
Well, Greg says something. He's wondering if it's the defensive coordinator and the fact that these guys are upset with the defense coordinator and how they're being asked to play. Listen, do you think that Joe Barry asked Jaire Alexander to play 15 yards off on 3rd and 8 and give up an easy first down? Do you think, honestly, Joe Barry wanted Jaire Alexander to play 15 yards off, even in a zone on 3rd and 8? No defensive coordinator would ever ask of that. Ever.
Or ask him.
Unless he was playing a 3 deep zone and there was supposed to be a guy who jumps in front and he takes that lower zone, and nobody did. And we don't know that. But the fact that if the players really didn't believe in Joe Barry's defense, then they're acting pretty. They're all good actors. Because they don't say anything much about it, I don't know.
I got some more poignant examples for you. Do you think Joe Barry 2 years ago in the playoffs against the 49ers on a critical 4th down play that would have stopped and gotten the Packers the ball back and actually kept the 49ers out of field goal range that you had to have? Do you think Joe Barry told Eric Stokes and Jaire Alexander to stand there, not attack the running play, back up, get blocked, and allow that first down on 4th down? Do you think Joe Barry told Jaire Alexander on a 2-point conversion play that they ran right at him, where all he had to do was attack on the outside and force the ball back to the inside to help, where he had 3 guys coming in? That's your job if you're on the outside. No. Do you think he told him, get blocked and make sure that you let the receiver push you 5 yards back in the end zone? On this game, this last game that we just saw, where it was that 2 points was going to tie the game, or you still had the lead. Do you think he told him that? No. So there are defensive calls, yes, that I'm sure the players don't agree with. There are defensive philosophies that, yes, I'm sure the players don't agree with. But there is a major problem with Jaire and a number of these players that they see it and they just stand there and they don't attack the ball. No matter what your original call is for defense, no matter what your original assignment is, once you see a player with the ball, your instinct and also the way you are coached is go make the play, go make the tackle, stop that guy as quick as you can. And a bunch of these guys play it passive. They hang on blocks way too long. They get pushed around. They don't want to get their noses in there. That's what we see time and time again from a bunch of the players. And there is no way in hell the defensive coordinator's telling them to do that. So everybody can complain about Joe Barry. He's terrible. He should be fired 100%. I want to talk about some interesting defensive coordinators that were raised up here recently, but there's no way he's telling players to play that way once the ball is in somebody's hands, because there's no more assignment then. The assignment is go tackle the ball carrier. Go tackle the guy with the ball.
Well, Jason's headphones are acting weird.
No, that's just frustrated me. I don't mean
makes you so frustrated you had to pull your earbuds out of your ears because you're so frustrated. Holy crap!
No, I had to. And that's not frustration at Greg. It just makes me really frustrated because I hear it time and time again about all this stuff, and people will talk about the scheme, and all this over and over again. And I get it, the scheme's bad, but
it is
bad. The players are not executing, and the players are bad. And a bunch of the players, aside from a handful, are not playing hard. And if you're not playing hard on defense, you're going to get your ass wiped. You're not going to get it wiped. You're going to get something worse. You're going to get it kicked. Sorry.
Well, I mean, I think
your ass wiped is pretty good. Usually,
there's some good things happening.
Yeah,
so
there are some good.
I don't know if you want to talk about that. The whole some people are saying get rid of the defense coordinator and get rid of all the players. But I don't know when you want to talk about all that.
That's what people are saying. People are saying this is the other part that's hard for me. And I said it the other night, and I don't know if people agree with me or not, or what you think, Ben. I know Greg says passive head coach, passive defensive coordinator leads to passive players, and maybe that is the case. Maybe it's just the tone, and nobody's tough enough. And so there were some interesting defensive coordinators. Andy Herman went through his list of 20 coordinator possibilities that people should think about. And of course, the most popular one's Jim Leonard, right? Everybody thinks about Jim Leonard. And he'd be great because of his ties to Wisconsin, the Badgers, all that sort of stuff. And he had a lot of success at Wisconsin. Another guy, of course, was, like you mentioned, was the defensive coordinator for Carolina.
Yeah, Evero.
And yep. And so they like him, and LaFleur likes him, and it's a similar style defense and all that sort of stuff, except his players are performing it better. But of course, then Dave Aranda, who is a former Badger defensive coordinator too, before Leonard, and he did really well. He's an interesting guy that's kind of out there and doesn't have anything too good going on right now, so you might consider it. But the name that was brought up, and if Viking Mo, if you're still here, the name that was brought up by Andy that really caught my attention was Mike Zimmer.
Don't you remember the Mike Zimmer, Matt LaFleur handshakes? They were non-existent. Those two guys can't stand each other. There's no way.
I would love it.
There's no way.
But what are these pain in the ass?
Those two guys hate each other. Zimmer hates him.
I don't care. Maybe you need a pissed off Zimmer to whip all these defensive players into shape. And if their guys are screwing up or screwing off, get them the hell off the field. Come on. We need a tough, no BS defensive coordinator. And Mike Zimmer, he's not going to put up with the people's crap.
Here's the reason why it'll never be Mike Zimmer. It'll never be a big name guy. Because let's say this tough defense coordinator comes in, right? And let's say the coaches actually respond to him. Who becomes the leader of the players respond to him. Who becomes the leader of the team then? Is it the tough defensive coordinator or is it the passive head coach?
I think it's Mike Zimmer. And
exactly, which is why Matt LaFleur would never hire him.
And Matt LaFleur's out next year, and Mike Zimmer slides right in to be our head coach.
Why do you think Aaron Rodgers never wanted a backup quarterback who was any good? Why do you think Brett Favre never came out of the game when he was hurt? Because he knew, I'm not giving another guy a shot. Matt LaFleur will not hire a defensive coordinator who challenges him. He had one in Mike Pettin, and he didn't. And Mike Pettin was like, "I'm out. You're gonna give all the blame to me, even though you're the one who said to play man coverage. F you, buddy. I ain't coming back." So the only guys we're gonna get, and so it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be really hard to get defensive coordinators. And I think Evero might be the one. Evero might be the one we can get because he is younger and solid, and he's looking for, and he might get it canned because let's face it, the guy that hired him last year is no longer there. You know who else is on the Carolina staff? James Campen.
I know, Campy.
And he'll be canned. Can we get James Campen back here and teach these freaking offensive linemen how to block?
That'd be nice.
There was an awesome interview I saw with Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones talked about how much James Campen helped him.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't even his initial coach. Right? That's the offensive line coach. And Aaron Jones talked about how much James Campen meant to him his first couple of years in the league. And it's like, that just proves what a coach James Campen is, who can relate with guys and he's also a former player, which I've brought up many a time. I think these position coaches, at least half of them, or at least if you have like multiple guys on the staff, like if you have like the head offensive line coach and then like a secondary offensive line coach, maybe the secondary offensive line coach should be a former player of some clout who's making his way to, starting off as a coach to try to become something more, give him an opportunity to be a coach. I saw, what was I watching the other day? Oh, Wes Welker is the wide receiver coach for the Dolphins. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure Tyreek Hill had enough talent way before he got traded to the Dolphins, but Waddle has been playing unbelievable over the last couple of years since Mike McDaniel got there, and Wes Welker is his wide receiver coach.
Doesn't Double D still hang around? Why can't he be wide receiver coach?
And who's our wide receiver coach? Jason Vrabel. Who the hell? What did he ever do? And I'm sorry, I'll keep bringing up Jason Vrabel all the time, but it's hilarious to me that he's the wide receiver coach, and our wide receivers are doing pretty good. But it's still like, come on. And that's the other point of this too. Whoever the new defense coordinator is and will be, because Joe Barry should be canned, we need new defensive position coaches as well. All these guys are bad. And maybe Jerry Montgomery's good, but he's been here for like 12 years. He's for some reason, he's survived all these defensive coordinator changes and he's still here. But the defensive line has not, except for TJ Slayton, proven to be what it should be over the years. And Mike Daniels, who went to Iowa, so he was good right from the start. Though Van Ness, I don't know about that.
Wait, is Mike Daniels retired? Could he come back and be a D-line coach?
I would hire him. He's fiery. He'll get on a guy's ass and knock him around.
That's it. Mike Zimmer,
a good
defensive
D-line
coordinator.
coach.
Mike Daniels, defensive coach. Let's get all Mikes. All Mike's defensive coaches.
Okay. Mike McKenzie, cornerback coach.
Mike McKenzie. Well, maybe. He's probably not that. He's probably not that smart. Shoot. I want Tremont as defensive backs.
Man, Tremont would be the best defensive backs coach in the history of defensive backs coach. I don't want no Al Harris. I saw an interview with Al Harris. They said, "Hey, Al Harris,
player coach? Could he be player coach like the old NBA days where?"
No. But they asked Al Harris, how come his corners are getting all these picks and all this stuff, and is it scheme and this and that? He's like, nah. I just tell him, whatever. And he's like, he doesn't know scheme. He can't be defense coordinator. Everybody's like, Al Harris, defense coordinator. I'm like, no. Just because he's a coach with Mike McCarthy down in Dallas doesn't mean he should be a defensive coordinator. Now, maybe in a couple of years he could be, right? But at this point, this is like his first coaching stop, right?
See, Lee wants Zimmer over Leonard too. I'm telling you, that Mike Zimmer.
He's kind of crazy. Lee kind of says he's been getting crazier every time he's been on here.
I would love Mike Zimmer. It'd be so great.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Jaire I would love to see Zimmer and Jaire go at it. I think Zimmer would take him out.
Yeah, it would be.
I think he'd be like, he'd be like, I'm 70 years old or whatever he is, and you're a punk ass little bitch, and I'd beat the snot out of your ass, and he probably would. He probably would beat him up. But I just don't see that. The way LaFleur and Zimmer, their post game, handshakes after games were like.
Well, he only hires like older defensive coordinators. He doesn't want anybody who's going to challenge him to take his head coaching spot, right? That's the thing about that young guy for Carolina. I can't remember Averill or whatever.
Yeah,
Avalon. Is that he's been talked about as like a head coaching candidate too. So Matt LaFleur doesn't want to hire a guy that if he's not good enough in the next year or two, and they're like, "Oh, see you later. We can just slide this guy in here as head coach." He doesn't want that. It's either Mike Zimmer or it's. They just keep hiring the Raiders' former interim head coaches. I don't care. One of those two.
I don't.
Like
Antonio Pierce, he doesn't have a scheme guy. He's not a scheme guy. He's
a
leader. He's a great leader. He'd be a good head coach. I think he should be the Raiders' head coach. I think he's good.
He probably will be. I think the Raiders will get it right this time.
He should be.
If they beat the Chiefs for the first time in like 4 years, he should get the job just on that.
Yeah.
All right. So the only other thing I was going to talk about quick was a lot of people saying defensive reset. They got to blow up this whole thing and reset the whole defense, including players and all that. Well, Ben, they've invested a lot in these players. I mean, we saw this. The Vikings have experienced, Mo basically said, with the same players as they had last year, and they were terrible on defense. And this year they're doing way better with a different scheme, different approach, different style, and different coach. So I don't know if I'm ready to say that yet, even though there are plenty of these players I'd be happy to part ways with, but you got so much tied up in contracts. There's only so many guys you can get new on the team. So I don't know that you can make too many big changes. You just have to make the right changes to players. And then you got to get and play a different style. And I think people want to attack. If they're playing defense, I think they want to attack.
I think the biggest difference in changing players is, like, you talk about high price guys. A lot of these high price guys are still here because of the Aaron Rodgers situation, where they had to, because Rodgers would never take a deal for us like he took for the Jets. So we had to keep taking guys who probably should still be on the team, but if we cut them, it would hurt us more than if we just restructure them and ghost year it into the future, and then they're on the team. And that's how Preston Smith is still around, and that's how, guys, and then Devondre Campbell's still around, and all this kind of crap. And to be honest, and Preston's a decent player, but he's not worth his money. Devondre Campbell should be gone. Jaire should be gone. Savage should be gone. And to be quite honest, those three haven't even played much this year, so who really cares? And when the Packers did win a couple games there in a row, like the last time we talked to him when he was on the show, and we were all high and excited, we had Corey Ballantyne and Valentine playing corner for us during those games, and we won. And we played frickin' the Chargers and the Lions and the Chiefs. So when we beat all those teams without Jaire Alexander and Devondre Campbell, neither of them played. And Savage wasn't playing then either. So do we really need a whole reset of players when we were actually playing good? I think we just need a scheme change with some added young talent at key positions, which includes corner, now that we traded Rasul away like idiots. And we're going to have to cut Jaire and probably not sign back Keyshawn Nixon. So we're going to have a totally different cornerback room next year.
Get ready for a corner in the first round again.
Oh yeah, it's going to happen. Because if Stokes is our leader, we're in trouble. And he's our leader coming up this week, which we should get into the Vikings game. Moles already wants us to. I'm sure the Packer fans, there's 6 of us talking about that stuff. But I don't think there's that much of a drastic move for player-wise. But it's the sad part is that our guys that Goody took high and have given the money to are not game-changing players. They just haven't been what we are paying for. And the same can be said for the free agency signed in, Preston and Za'Darius when they were here, and Adrian Amos, who was solid, but never game-changing player. So it's like we almost always had enough. We had enough guys that kind of just hang around, and then we had Rodgers who wouldn't do stupid stuff, so we'd win games against crappy teams, let them screw up, and then lose in the playoffs like always, because Rodgers doesn't take chances.
That got old after a while.
Right. And the other thing I talked about this before the season started. We knew we had a young quarterback. We knew he was going to make mistakes. We knew we had a young receivers and tight ends. And because of that, you have to take more chances on defense. And Joe Barry just didn't do it all year.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't. You don't have Aaron Rodgers out there anymore, who's going to throw no picks, and sometimes he's going to go 3 and out, and then he's going to run down the field, or move the ball down the field and score, and you'll win games because you didn't make a mistake, but the other team, you sat there waiting for the other team to make a mistake. Well, if you sit back and wait for the other team to make a mistake, and you're making more mistakes, you end up looking like crap, which is what we've looked like in our losses, right? And that's a Joe Barry problem and a Matt LaFleur problem. You should have recognized that before the season started. Hey, Joe, we got to attack more. We got to play man coverage. We got to press a little more. We're going to give up a couple plays. We might give up 14 points on big plays, but we'll stop them all the other times. And all we got to do is score 17 to win. And we didn't do it all year. That's what I said at the beginning of the year we had to do. They didn't do it. Didn't do it. They still sat back and played like wussies, playing like they thought they had the MVP Aaron Rodgers, who's not going to make a mistake. And we lost a lot of games there. And it wasn't until later on when Jordan Love started playing better, and the offense started clicking. Well, okay, now our offense is what's winning games for us, and the defense is still playing like they were all year.
Yeah.
And that's the defense coordinator. So all the fans are correct. Joe Barry needs to be gone, no doubts.
Mm-hmm.
But only a couple players need to be gone. And it's the ones that really haven't played much anyways. And Savage, Jaire, Devondre Campbell, probably Preston Smith, probably Kenny Clark. Though Kenny Clark has been playing better lately. So that's good. But he still is never going to put pressure on the quarterback. Like, he's never going to make a play in the backfield. Like, at least pursue. He's not a pursue player. He can beat the guy and then make the tackle, but he can't beat the guy, pursue to make a tackle because there is no pursuit because he has no speed.
You can get a sack if you run into him or if you tear your Achilles tendon.
Tear your Achilles. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So anyways, so that's all I'm saying. Joe Barry gone, yes.
I've got a big thing for you here, Ben. You talked about players that are stepping up, and you talked about guys that are doing some stuff and showing out in the games. And, there's a guy that I was really excited about before the draft a couple years ago, and the Packers sneakily plucked him off of Seattle's practice squad, and they hit him in the preseason, right? They didn't want him to show too much of the preseason, so he didn't get a lot of ops, and then they were able to cut him and practice squad him. But now that they let him play a major role, now people are like, I don't know, should he be? Can you put him back on the practice squad, or do you have to put him on the 53 and just be like, let's put him Samori Toure on the practice squad because nobody wants him. Yeah, so I think that's a much safer play. But then their head coach had to say this, like, Matt LaFleur, you're not helping cover him up anymore, because Matt LaFleur was asked about my guy Bo Melton, and this is what he said about Bo Melton, and this is very big contrast from what you heard about Jaire Alexander, just in comparison.
Just in terms of, I think for Bo and for many players in general, it all starts with their attitude. And this guy has been team first since the day he got here. And he's always striving to get better no matter what is asked of him, whether it's on the scout team, whether he's getting reps, with the first team offense, whatever it may be, whether it's on special teams. And he's had a great attitude, a great mentality. And I think we've all seen a lot of growth and a lot of progress from him.
I think that's a great way to end this whole defense Jaire talk. That says it all.
Oh my God, Bo.
If we had a bunch of Bo Melton attitude guys, I think we'd be 17-0 at the end of the year. And it's this rascal talent guy, freaking head cases like Jaire that ruin teams. Just saying. I'd rather have a bunch of Micah Hydes and Mike Daniels and Aaron Jones and Bo Melton and Tucker Kraft and, Adam Timmerman and Lucas Patrick and Rasul Douglas and, Isaiah McDuffie and, guys like that. Desmond Bishop, Charlie Pepra. And then give me like one Charles Woodson to mix in there, one superstar to freaking, to just help out all the regular guys.
Big difference is this too. Remember, Charles Woodson was not happy when he had to come to Green Bay because he didn't have any options, right? And he was pissy and causing problems. And he and Mike McCarthy had it out, right?
Right.
But Mike McCarthy stood up to him and talked to him and laid down what was expected. And they even said publicly, like, after that conversation, I remember Mike McCarthy's kind of recap. I was like, well, some things were said, and he was trying to play nice, but clearly Mike McCarthy was like, hey, this is what's expected. We're going to do some cool things with you, but we need this from you. We need you to be on board. We need you to whatever, stop pulling this crap. And Woodson straightened up, and look what happened to his career. He had the best years of his career. He was awesome.
Yeah, but the difference is
he's a very different guy.
It's not right. It's not just that Mike McCarthy was a hard ass, and he was, and Matt LaFleur is a wuss. It's that Charles Woodson was an all-pro superstar college player who won the Heisman.
And he's also a guy who cared and wanted to win.
Right. And then became an all-star superstar. But then with the Raiders, he got fat and, he kind of lost his way. But he was already a superstar who then lost his way and then got back. So he knew what it was like and what it took to be a great, amazing player. And maybe, and he had the talent. That's what I was talking about earlier, where you find your greatness, right? And maybe Mike McCarthy had to push him a little bit, but it worked. Jaire is not even 1/10 the player freaking Charles Woodson was. Are you freaking kidding me?
No.
Jaire's best would be not even 1/10 of Charles Woodson. And Matt LaFleur is no Mike McCarthy hard ass. And it all goes back to maybe Aaron Rodgers is to blame when he threw away 50 freaking balls and got McCarthy fired.
Oh, man. All right. Well, we'll switch to the Packer Viking game.
All right, Packer Vikings. Here we go.
Viking Mo wants us to know. Actually, he pointed out, Ben, we mentioned TJ Slayton before. He said, first person Pete Burchich mentioned, I don't know who that guy is, but whatever, in his film study show as versus the Packers was TJ Slayton.
Yeah, TJ Slayton's playing awesome.
He's freaking blowing up some stuff. He's being the man. Damn.
I've shown him on our channel many times. He's
good stuff.
TJ Slayton has progressed over the last 3 years the way you would hope a guy would progress. The way that guys like Montravius Adams and, name a bunch of other guys, Kingsley Kiki and all these other guys never did, right? They're supposed to be able to do something and then never did. And it comes down to a guy who I think is just a good guy, works hard. Period. And he was an offensive lineman, and they moved him to D tackle because I don't know why, but it was a good move.
He's a big man.
Probably because he's super athletic and freaky and strong and can good wiggle and movement to side and get off blocks and bull rush and all kinds of crazy stuff. And he's playing great. And he's the future of the D line. Actually, he's probably the present of the D line over Kenny Clark at this point. And
playing better than Devontae Wyatt, playing better than all those guys.
We've shown it on this channel, and it's awesome. But we need to now pay him and not let him go somewhere else. And his contract's going to be up after next year. So I think he's in his third year now.
Yep.
So, and he will be. It's not just if Eric is saying that these Viking guys are showing film on him, that means it's not just the Packer fans and the Packers who know he's good. Other teams are starting to know he's good, which means he will probably get a decent paycheck if he hits free agency. Because teams will see, oh, this guy's actually good. Let's get him. And we might lose him. And we can't afford to lose him. Mm-hmm. But we also can't afford to pay him as much as we pay Kenny Clark.
Well, that's why if you try to get the deal done like early next season and create an extension off of that and give him a little more money next year to kind of make up for his poor, 5th round or 6th round contract, whatever he's got going, you'll want to do that because a 330-pound dude who can play, yeah, that's going to be somebody people are going to be looking for, and also somebody we haven't had very often in the middle of our defense. And when we have, it's made a big difference. When we've had a big guy in the middle who could play, this defense has been way better. Viking Mo says he expects Kenny Clark to play well this week. We hope all the D-line looks good this week. Even Lucas Van Ness might get some sacks. Who knows?
Lucas Van Ness has been coming on. He's been coming on. He's been doing better.
Yep.
I think he needs to stop thinking so much and just play. You know what I mean? I think it's when he's trying to read stuff and it's where he gets caught. And he's so tall, when the opponent gets underneath his pads, then he's in trouble. So he needs to just attack. And the sad part is that means our linebackers need to have their heads on a swivel and actually be paying attention. And maybe that's another reason why Lucas Van Ness is playing better now is because he knows he's got McDuffie around up by him. So if he screws up, McDuffie can be there to also be make some plays too, because he attacks too. So that when they're both attacking and doing great, maybe that works. But that also could be why our pass, protection is not as good because McDuffie's not known for pass protection or coverage. His coverage grade per PFF this week was terrible. It was like a 30-something % or 30 whatever score on his coverage grade. So I don't know. I just see him making flashes in the running game.
Yeah. That's what he does.
Yeah, maybe his coverage grade is bad. And that could be a liability. And that's why, as fans, I'm not a genius. I don't know what the heck's going on in all these plays. I just know when I see a guy attack, I'd rather see a guy attack than a guy stand there doing nothing. That's why I like McDuffie, right? But maybe he does think in coverage for all I know. I'm not a genius on defensive strategies or anything like that.
Well, are the Vikings going to pass a lot or are they going to run? They don't run much at all,
they're not running. Mo, who's this guy running back? Chester or Chichter or Klepek or something with a CH. I don't know what the hell his name is. Tell me what his name is, Mo. But the Vikings have been running the ball a little bit better because they've taken Madison out, who, of course, Madison is a ding-dong, has no idea what the hell. He can't read blocks and he's stupid. He's fast and big. Ty Chandler. Okay, there you go. This guy's been doing pretty good. He's pretty good. He finds the hole. He runs hard. He breaks tackles. He's pretty good. So that's the issue. But if TJ Slayton and McDuffie and those kind of guys are playing, we'll be okay. Because their offensive line ain't that great. It's pretty good pass protection offensive line. But O'Neill's not playing, I don't think. Viking Mo's O'Neill out, right? O'Neill's out. TJ Hawkinson's out.
Out.
Of course, Kirkle Chains is out.
Kirkle Chains.
Addison might be out.
What? Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So all we got to do is double team stupid Justin Jefferson. Don't let him get a free
Jaron
release.
Hall playing quarterback. Jaron Hall's playing quarterback.
Jaron Hall, who we saw him when Kirk O'Chains got hurt against the Pack. Jaron Hall sucked. We almost came back in that game. Couldn't do anything. I mean, I'd rather see Mullins because he'll throw. You know what? No, I would rather not see Mullins because because we can't get interceptions. So he'll have 400 yards and he'll have 4 touchdowns against us.
Right.
At least Jaron Hall might suck. Who knows? He's a rookie. We might be able to fool him with just being, I don't know, maybe he'll do something dumb. So that's good news. I think this is the best news we could have had because Josh Dobbs is running around. We can't stop that.
Yep.
And Mullins throwing all over the place. And our guys probably not. He'll throw us some balls, but our guys aren't going to catch him. We don't have Rasul anymore. Right. So unless Rudy Ford's out there, Rudy Ford will pick him off. But Rudy Ford hasn't been playing. So this is the best move for us, for the Vikings to play this guy, Hall. So that's good news for us. Thank you, Mo. Thank you, Vikings. We got a chance.
Likes his skill set, huh? We like his skill set too. Yeah, because that was the one thing I thought about because everybody's talking about Mullins. You know, and Kevin O'Connell was like, well, you know, he's been playing well and doing this and that, and throwing for a lot of yards and very productive, but the interceptions are the thing and all this. And I'm like, well, I mean, the Packers aren't going to get any. The Packers have 1 interception in the last 7 games.
Yeah.
1. And that was Keyshawn Nixon's picking off Patrick Mahomes because he read the play because Patrick Mahomes touched his knee. And then he was like, I know what's going on. And then he read the play and ran out there and caught it like a punt returner. That's the only interception we have in the last 7 games. So Nick Mullins would tear it up against us. So I'm glad he's not in there.
He would. This is actually, if the Vikings coaches were smart and they watched film or even looked at the stats, they would know we could start Mullins.
The only guy we have out there right now that's probably going to be heads up enough to maybe pick it off and might be able to catch it is Quay Walker. That's the only guy I think might, because he's made a few picks in his time. But otherwise, I think how sad is that? I think our linebackers have a better chance of picking off a pass than any of our defensive backs that are probably going to be on the field.
Well, I mean, what's his face? He got a pick. That's
Anthony Johnson Jr. He got that one. Yeah,
that was a deflection off of Jaire, but he still had to like adjust to it and catch it real quick. It was like he was right next to the ball. He made it fell to the ground and made that pick. So he's Johnny on the spot, had his head on a swivel, made the play.
But Mullins says Mullins makes good reads, but lacks the arm talent. Well, I'll tell you what, he steps into his throws, and most of his throws look pretty good to me. I don't know.
Yeah, they were talking. Joe Barry was talking about Hall's mobility today too. And so the reporters are asking, like, is this going to be another Tommy DeVito reaction situation here where we're going to lose our passing, our rush lanes, and then this guy Hall's going to just run all over the damn place because our guys are stupid? And Joe Barry's like, well, you gotta look out for this. That's the thing you gotta worry about. You know, he had no fucking plan. Sorry for my swearing. Joe Barry's an idiot. They asked him a question and he just answers the question by re-saying the question back in an answer exactly like way longer. He's almost like me where he says the same thing like 5 times. And it does,
Isn't
says
that
nothing.
What Johnny Gray used to do? Or except he would
No, Johnny Gray would say the exact same phrase after somebody said it. That's what Johnny Gray used to say when he was on the Fox 11 whatever show. They'd be like, "Hey, Aaron Jones ran for a lot of yards today. He was the difference maker today. What'd you say, Johnny? Oh yeah, Aaron Jones was difference maker today." And that's how he'd start his sentence every time. Whatever the last sentence was the guy said before, he would start with that first sentence. His first sentence would be whatever the last guy said. But anyways, so those are good things. Can we stop a guy who's a rookie? And I don't know.
I would hope that because with Kevin O'Connell's track record of forgetting about the run, even when it's working, and he likes to pass.
That's good.
Mo said that. Even though the Packers have given up a bunch of passing yards and made a bunch of quarterbacks look good, what if could they possibly recognize? I know they love Rashawn Gary. I know they love Lucas Van Ness. I know they love Preston Smith even, but Kingsley Enagbari's been playing like a madman. JJ. So could they possibly recognize that maybe more downs they run kind of that get the big guys off the field and line up Van Ness and Gary inside, or one of those guys inside to have a little more speed in there, and get 3 of their outside linebackers on the field to help track down this young quarterback and help create more of a pass rush? And
what I would do is put all those guys out there. I put Brenton Cox out there. I put Preston, Gary, Brenton Cox, Van Ness, and Kingsley Enagbare on third down and have them just run straight as fast as they can all at the same time. Just go.
That'd be cool.
Just go. Don't give up your rush lane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And do some stunts with all that speed.
Yep.
Have two guys swing to this way, and then have your whoever the fastest, Brenton Cox, if he's the fastest, have him swing around right up through the gut. Because then Jaron Hall will think, "Ooh, I got a free lane up the gut." He starts running forward. Here comes Brenton Cox out of nowhere. Bam! Smack a Rooney.
Fumble.
Because we ain't gonna get no picks, so we got to cause a fumble.
It's true. The Packers can force some fumbles. They just can't get any interceptions.
So
one interception in 7.
will Joe Barry do that kind of stuff? No, he's not creative.
Probably not.
As Packer fans on our offense, we're going to watch the Vikings do all kinds of crazy crap. They're going to send 8 guys. They're going to send 3 guys. Apparently, Harrison Smith is just doing whatever he wants. I don't know if that's I think it looks like he's doing whatever he wants. I'm sure he's doing what the structure of the defense is, but he's just run around. Like he's running around in circles.
He's disguising a bunch of stuff, right?
Yeah. He's just doing whatever, and then he goes where he needs to go. And he'll be standing right up front like this, and all of a sudden he drops back 15 yards and plays deep zone coverage. And vice versa. He'll be back 15 yards. Next thing you know, he's blitzing the quarterback, and you're like, wait, where did he come from? And then you're smacked.
And Josh Myers Smith is confused.
Yeah. Well, Harrison Smith has been killing it. So I don't know. Our only saving grace is, as we all know, Vikings defensive ends are smaller than some of our wide receivers. So because of that, we could run on them to the outsides. Yeah, Jordan Hicks is playing good. Troy Dye, he's even been not terrible. And there, Ivan Pace Jr., he was a guy I loved in the draft. Nobody drafted him. The Vikings signed him as a freaking free agent, undrafted free agent. And he's been killing it. He's just a madman. He's like a freaking Tasmanian devil.
What school is he from?
He's from Cincinnati, I think. Right?
Oh, okay. DJ Wanham lost for the season. That's
Wanham wasn't that good. Yeah. Actually, I wish he was playing. Yeah. Ivan Pace is like the man. He's like 5'10". He's like 5'10", 100 or 210 pounds or something, or 200.
Undersized. That's why people.
Yeah, he's 5'10", 220. He's kind of like he's just like a Tasmanian devil, man. He's just all over the place. He's crazy against the run. He gets picks. He causes fumbles. He just starts smacking dudes. He's like running around all over the damn place, and he's crazy. Like that's the kind of guy we should have.
He's a playmaker.
Yeah,
defensive
he's a playmaker. He's look out for him. And then Troy Dye is the opposite. He's like 6'3", athletic freak, but doesn't know what the heck's going on out there. So that's why he doesn't play, where they'd rather have Hicks and Ivan Pace Jr. out there. So I don't know. I'm just saying, look out, because the Vikings love Ivan Pace Jr. He does crazy stuff. Harrison Smith does crazy stuff. You know, they got Danielle Hunter, who's a freaking freak of nature, especially pass rushing. I think Zach Tom can handle him. So that's good news. But if he goes to the other side, I don't know if Walker's going to be able to handle him.
Well, Rasheed Walker's the man now, left tackle. Steno's all excited about him, says he's gotten it figured out. So no more rotation at left tackle for the Packers, just at right guard still. So,
all right.
But I don't know. Rasheed Walker, I'm still not sold. I hope the Packers don't think they've found their tackle of the future, but is he good enough for now? I guess if he's the best that we got, then he's the best we got.
I'll say this, from watching other games in the NFL, he's better than a lot of guys.
All right.
That are starting on other teams.
I think Jenkins has been playing better.
Jenkins has been playing great lately. He's been moving well. When he pulls and he gets on a guy, he sticks on a guy. He does pretty good there.
Packers have been doing more of that, more
even
pulling.
Myers has been not terrible lately.
More different run blocking schemes and just the straight flow zone stuff, which I think has helped their linemen out a lot. So that's been nice to see too.
The other thing is, I don't know if it's as much, like we talked about this before, where when they played the Jets last year, they played Washington last year, these teams that have these big defensive linemen and they just crash. All they want to do is just crash the all line. and screw the whole thing up, and they shove everybody back, and it screws up this pulling a running game that Matt LaFleur likes to run lately. Where the last couple games, like in this Carolina game, the Packers were moving the line of scrimmage, and the pullers had tons of room to run behind and get to their spot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same type of thing. The Vikings have a smaller edge guys. They're tougher and bigger in the middle, but their edge guys are smaller. So if they can get some push, if Zach Tom can get some push on Danielle Hunter in the run game, and that allows these pullers to have room to work back there, look out. I'm seeing a big AJ Dillon, big Aaron Jones game, and maybe Emmanuel Wilson can come back and play this week because he's been practicing. So that's good news because AJ Dillon's hand is still broke, so we don't know what he can actually even do out there. Hunter's great in the running game. Yeah, okay, but that's not what I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about when they pin him or when they want to block him and run at him. I'm talking more what the Packers have been doing more successfully, Mo, is they're pulling their guards and they're pulling the center, or sometimes even pulling their tackle, and having them be a lead blocker to the outside. And what screws them up is when the defense gets penetration and screws up the whole thing. So as long as we can keep Danielle Hunter and get on him and get under him and shove him back a little bit and don't get beat right away. If he uses the speed and gets past us, we're screwed, even in the run game. But if we can get on him and push him a little bit, we're gonna have a successful running game. We all know Aaron Jones loves playing in that stadium. He always has huge games. Huge games. Even though Anthony Barr is not there anymore to tell him to go home and he sucks. And then Aaron Jones just goes out.
Aaron Jones is back full speed, just in time. Mo, just right. In time.
And we got a guy. We got like 8 tight ends now, which is crazy. We had none before the season started. All of a sudden, we got like a whole bunch of them, and you guys have none.
And we also
Barr's still there. He is.
We also have a quarterback that'll hand it off to Aaron Jones whenever he's told to. So that helps too. All right. Instead, we're gonna switch it up. I was gonna do a silent but deadly from this last game, but instead, we're gonna do what Viking Mo loves the most, which is predict. And Ben, we're going to do a silent but deadly for the upcoming game. We want a prediction from you, kind of like 3 guys with 2 things. We're going to do 2 guys with 2 silent but deadly players. Here we go.
And now it's time for the Hateman Bros silent but deadly player of the week.
All right, Ben. Do you have a silent but deadly player? Who would you think, if you're looking at this game, going against the Vikings, going into Minnesota, a guy that's going to make a big difference in a quiet way, drop it silently, but leave his mark in US Bank Stadium or field or whatever it's called. I don't know, whatever, but you know what I'm talking about in Minnesota.
Well, is your guy on offense or on defense?
My guy's on offense.
Okay, I'll pick a defensive guy.
Right.
My silent but deadly guy. This week, I always pick the same guys.
All right, you pick an offensive guy. I'll pick a defensive one.
No, I'll pick a defensive guy. You know what? My silent but deadly guy this week is going to be Devontae Wyatt. Devontae Wyatt, because he had a terrible game last week.
He got chewed out by Matt LaFleur on the sideline a couple of times. Damn.
Yeah, he also didn't look good in the game either.
No.
But that's because he was outside. He doesn't do good outside. He has to be in a controlled environment. He gets really tired, and he can't play in the cold. He can't play in the hot. He can't play when his dew point's too high or too low. It needs to be a controlled, air-conditioned, or properly heated area. This is the indoor stadium that the Vikings play in. It's perfect for Devontae Wyatt. He might not get the sack. He might not get the tackle. But I got a feeling he's going to do some crazy stuff that's going to mess things up. And he's going to make plays without always being in the stat sheet because of his penetration. So I'm going to say Devontae Wyatt is going to be the silent but deadly defensive player on Sunday against the Vikings, so we get the win.
Devontae Wyatt. All right. Make it happen. Make it happen, 95. All right. Well, he flashed last week. Keeps flashing around. He might not have as big of a role in this particular game because of the threat of somebody else taking some of his snaps. But my silent but deadly is the guy that's going to keep doing whatever is necessary to win. And he has a dog mentality. He's from a town of about 500 people in Little South Dakota. And that's Tucker, the Tucker Craft. You better watch out for the Tucker Craft train, Viking Mo. He's going to get you on Sunday. Tucker Craft. Tucker Craft has been awesome.
Mo has 2 silent but deadly names. We're not going to show that. We don't care. Well, it's Vikings. We don't do Vikings silent but deadlies. So you can say all you want. I'm not going to say who they are. We're not going to name them. And the only people on Facebook can see it. Nobody watches us on Facebook. They all watch us on YouTube. So it's fine. We're good.
All right. Well, we hope they make it happen. What's your final score? Final score prediction. Viking Mo also loves that. What do you got?
Okay. Here's the things that need to happen. If the Packers can do these 2 things, 2 simple things.
Oh, you got a qualifier before your final score.
Yes, okay. Because if they don't do this, they're going to lose. Get a hand on Justin Jefferson at the line of scrimmage. Do not give him an easy release, please. That's the only time he's any good. If you get your hand on him right away and you double team, put a guy on top, put a safety over the top of him, have Keyshawn Nixon down low and beat the snot out of him. Or whoever. Don't let him get an easy release off line of scrimmage. And if he lines up in a bunch set where he's the guy behind, fine. There's nothing you can do there. But at least be on him and be worried about it. But you can't let him get an easy release because that's the only time he's any good. He's not that good. I've already said this a million times. He does have good hands. I'll give him that. But he's not fast. He's not really all that shifty. I don't know why people think he's so good. He's not that great. He had Kirkle Chains throwing the ball. Without Kirkle Chains, what is he? Nothing.
He does attack the ball. Give him that. But he's just not dynamic, right? Is what you're saying?
I don't know. I just didn't think he was worth a first-round pick. That's all.
That's fair.
So they need to chuck him out the line of scrimmage. And then the second on defense. And then on offense, the key to the offense is simple. Aaron Jones needs 20 carries, period. End of story. Don't do the first drive, all Aaron Jones, and then not give him the ball for like 5 drives in a row, like you always do. And you just keep him involved in the game, please, for God's sake. This is like a playoff game. There's no holding Aaron Jones to be healthy for later. If you don't win this game, you're not making the playoffs. So it doesn't matter if Aaron Jones gets hurt or doesn't get hurt or whatever because you're saving him. No more saving Aaron Jones. We paid him $15 million or whatever it is this year to play. He's healthy now. He feels great. Can we please use Aaron Jones? He loves playing against the Vikings at Viking Stadium. He always has a great game. He always kills them there. Let's go. Those are the keys to the game. If Aaron Jones gets 20 touches, 20 carries.
Mm-hmm.
20 carries. Also, no more stupid passes in the flat. I want to see the Texas route like we did against the Bears on 4th down. He took it all the way to the house. That's the route I want to see to Aaron Jones. No more of this stupid in the flat, all this crap. No, he sucks when he throws it in the flat because he gets all turned around and all weird. And Aaron Jones doesn't look good in those plays. I don't know why they keep running them. But the Texas route, when he's moving out and then toward the linebackers, woo, that's how you do it. Packers are going to win if those 2 things happen. And they're going to win 30-14.
30-14?
Shut down freaking Justin Jefferson. The quarterback is a rookie. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. And Aaron Jones will take over the game. If they don't do those things, they're going to lose. So
do you think
Jones carries, Justin Jefferson, smack him at the line of scrimmage. 30-14, Packers win.
Can A.J. Dillon catch a pass right now?
No.
Okay. So he's not
only got one hand.
So he's not a threat in the passing game if you got him out there.
No, but he's good for play action and short yardage.
All right.
So they could still use him for short yardage and play action. Not to give him the ball, but like to use him and then, and then Tucker Craft,
help block. I like Tucker Craft. Lee says 27-20 Packers win. Viking Mo doesn't say anything yet other than he hopes they play Dillon a lot.
He knows they're going to lose.
Aaron Jones is going to play a lot. It is. You're right about Aaron Jones though. Like I still don't get it. Like there's no holding him back. There's no reason to. Please play him. Please use him. And that is the weird part. Like I get when they want to give him a rest, but I mean there were was it like 3 drives where you didn't even see him? on the field or in a row. We were seeing Patrick Taylor. We were seeing
we don't need other guys. Patrick Taylor.
Like, we don't need to see those other guys too much. Like, a spot play here and there, fine, but should be a lot of 33 on the field.
Honestly, God, there should be no drive where Aaron Jones isn't out there right away. Aaron Jones needs to be the running back on every single drive at the start of every single drive. Now, if he needs a break because he gets tired, take him out, or he gets hit kind of hard, fine. Every drive, Aaron Jones should be the running back in the backfield, and you'll never have a drive stall. You'll never have a 3-and-out with Aaron Jones as your running back at the start of the drive. Guaranteed. I say it right here, right now. You'll never have a 3-and-out. Never.
He had a lot of first down pickups in that last game. He had a lot of first downs.
He does this.
Let's see.
Move. By the way, Tucker Kraft and Christian Watson did that move. I can't remember what game it was. There was one game where Aaron Jones was supposed to play and then he didn't. And then both those two guys, when they got their first 2 first downs, did that same move. And it was awesome.
Yeah.
And it shows you what Aaron Jones' leadership means to the offense and why the offense isn't falling apart like a defense. Because defense has no leadership. The offense does. It's Aaron Jones.
Well, we got to get some for this game. All right. Wildman says Packers 33, Vikings 13. Viking Mo's still hanging in there, hoping his Vikes win 20-17. I don't think of that. That's going to be the case. I say Packers win this game. Can I see that many points? I don't know.
Me and Dad are pretty close.
I don't know if I can see 33 points, but I'm going to say, just because I don't think the defense is going to generate points, so I'm going to say Packers 24, Vikings 10. That's it.
I think Aaron Jones is going to have 3 touchdowns this game.
Oh, I hope you're right. I'd love it. I
think he is. So that's 21 right there. So they can easily get 30.
I hope the Packers control the ball. A lot of sustained drives. Look good. Run their offense, and just kind of wear them down. Just kind of take the heart and soul right out of the building. Be awesome.
3 Aaron Jones touchdowns, 3 Anders Carlson field goals, 30 points. Aaron Jones, Packers win.
Anders is good at the field goals. Maybe not the extra points, but the field goals.
And we're in a controlled environment. Trust me.
All right.
He'll make a 50-yarder too.
Ooh, Mark Coleman jumps in here.
Call
and
it
says
now.
Minnesota 35, Green Bay 17. What? Whoa, Mark.
Well, you might be right. I don't know. Is this Mark? Are you a Packer fan or a Viking fan?
I'm not sure. Probably a Viking fan.
To be quite honest, a Packer fan could easily say the Vikings are going to win 35-17, and I do not doubt that could possibly happen.
But do you think the Vikings are offensive juggernaut? Come on, with Jaron Hall as a quarterback.
If we don't get a hand on Justin Jefferson, and if Aaron Jones only has 5 carries, yes, I can see us losing 35-17. Okay, Mark's a Packer fan. He's a realistic
Packer fan.
He's a realistic Packer fan. It's okay.
He's lost his hope.
Well, he hasn't lost his hope. He understands what's going. He sees there's chinks in the armor.
Minnesota's a tough.
Minnesota's defense is crazy.
They are crazy.
And they have Justin Jefferson. And if you don't hit him, he's not terrible. He's good.
Yeah.
But
I got to believe the Packers are gonna figure out how to do it. They're gonna give Aaron Jones the ball enough. Jordan Love's gonna be okay. Lee's thinking it's more about the defense, and a lot of these scores you guys are coming up with. Vikings only 13 points, 14 points, stuff like that. I mean, that means the defense is going to have to play well, right? And do something. So,
not necessarily.
Well, they got to do something. They can't. I mean, Bryce Young had his best game of his career against them last week. He looked like a good quarterback in the second half.
But he's also a guy who's been playing all season long. This is a guy who hasn't played since he he ended the game against the Packers, and he had like 4 snaps against the Falcons before he got hurt in the next game, and then he hasn't played since. So this guy is rusty, and he's a rookie. So I mean, I don't know. I just think it's crazy that Kevin O'Connell's changing to him at quarterback at this point, but it's also crazy that the Packers suspended Jaire Alexander. So this season has been the craziest football season I can ever remember. If you would have told me the Chiefs are in a huge losing streak, they're not even like, they're getting beat by the Raiders and all these and us. But yet the Broncos are beating us, and Sean Payton is just not going to play Russell Wilson anymore because he's sick of him. And I mean, this is just the craziest season I can ever remember of football. Like, there's so many crazy things happen. Aaron Rodgers plays 4 snaps and he's out for the year. It was the biggest story of the year. And just like that, done.
Yet he's still talking every week.
Oh yeah, he's still talking. I never pay attention to him, so that's.
I know, but he still has this platform to get out there every week. Mark's cheering for Packers and good vibes. We're cheering for Vikings to, sorry, but have your season hopes ended here this week. Mikey Mo, you know you're not going to make the playoffs, right? You know you're not.
Well, they're not even right now. Neither are the Pack.
Even if you beat the Packers, you probably lose to the Lions the final week anyway, right? Come on, Viking Mo.
Yeah, come on, Viking Mo. What are you doing? Yeah, but the Lions already clinched the division. They got nothing to play for.
I don't know. The 49ers slipped up again. They still got a shot at the number 1 seed. We'll see what happens.
I don't know.
See what happens, man. All right. Anyway, everybody except Viking Mo thinks that, and Mark thinks the Packers will win. But that's okay. Packers are going to surprise you. Hopefully this decision with Jaire Alexander is a little bit of a wake-up call for some of the guys that have been dogging it. Hopefully
that could be, maybe it's a wake-up call for the other players and not Jaire. That also might work for what they did.
I hope so, man. Because these guys got to stop, playing just like you don't see the effort from a lot of them. And defense a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of scheme and there's all this stuff, but a lot of it's so much about effort. I mean, football in general, a lot of it's about effort. And we got to see it. These guys got to give it their best. I mean, come on. They only get, so many few opportunities to go out there and play an actual game in their year, in their season, in their lives. Like, make it count, man. Show me you care. Show me it's about more than just the money. So we'll see. I know my guy Bo's going to play hard, and I hope he gets another opportunity to get some catches and plays, although Jaden Reed might be back. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, all right. You guys have a good evening, good weekend. Enjoy the game. And we appreciate you all hanging out. Viking Mo, Eric Gardner, Mark, Lee, Wildman Dude. We know Raider Rick's here in spirit. Greg was here. Everybody else who chimed in, we appreciate you. Be well, stay well, and we hope the Packers bring it home and keep the hopes alive for the playoffs coming up here.
Yep.
And bring it down. Come on, let's have it. Let's have it. Bears beat the Bears and get in the playoffs. That would be pretty awesome. But we got to get past the Vikings first.
Hopefully Mo's feeling better in time to go to the game on Sunday night.
Feel better, Mo. Feel better. But don't go to the game because you're probably going to end up disappointed. So just stay home, save your money, save your time.
Maybe. Well, he probably had to pay for the tickets, so.
Oh, okay. Well, sell them. Sell them and get some money for them.
Yeah, instead. You can do that.
Do that. All right, bro. Take care of yourself. Love you, man. Bye, guys. Tell me why,